Yeah, Type Visit Fashion. I started Type Visit Fashion, I would say, like in college, but officially in 2012. And as you know, before that in 2010. And I kind of been using that name ever since. And I owned a vintage store for about 10 years here in Baltimore. And that's how I met D7etta. Like basically I had a shop, and we set up like a bin where folks can donate dresses and items and everything. And I think at the time, I think I sort of transitioned away from like formal wear, so that that was a little bit of a struggle for some of my folks to get rid of some of their formal wear and donate them. But I wish that more people save their things instead of giving them away. But what it did was it really sort of helped me understand that I can sort of prep the audience for how to save things for things like this. So before prom season, I would say, hey, it's that time where, kids are going off to prom. Look in your closet. Don't throw away those dresses. Think about it for that. So that was very intentional. So I'm glad that we connected in that way. Because I don't have kids. I don't even know anybody like under 30. But I care about the kids, love the kids, and want them to have great experiences, and finances shouldn't be a limitation, for them. I would have a lot of young people come to the shop and sort of like, look around, browse, and I think they liked the fact that, there were things that were affordable. But I think what really was helpful is having discussions, talking more about the history and the culture of clothing. And that's sort of my thing. That's sort of my expertise is black vintage, and really talking about how vintage clothing tells a story and has a history. And my goal has always been to um, save the planet, save the environment. I was like a Fern Gully kid, so watch Fern Gully, and I was like did little papers in middle school on like environmental issues and things like that. And so creating a space where I can enjoy fashion and help the environment was sort of like a no brainer for me. So I would say the business has kind of gone through different waves of like style and some missions and goals and things like that. But I think the ultimate goal is really to let fashion um, have its place, tell a story, and use cyclical fashion, use upcycle sustainable fashion to move those stories from person to person. So if I have a piece and I'm in love with it, and it feels loved, and someone else receives it, they can almost feel that love in that too. If I just throw it at you, a piece at you, there's a very different presence than when I have it in a bag and it's nicely kept and I've cared for it well. And so I try to teach people how to do, how to clean and maintain their clothes so that they can appreciate it a little bit more, and also that it'll be in better condition when they give it up, because nobody wants dirty, smelly clothes, or something with moss, been eating at it. But
Right.
if you know how to care for it, then you can, do more. So I also stop talking because I just wanted to, just throw some ideas out. I don't want to keep it like super duper formal. But if you have questions or any responses, like let's, keep the dialogue open.
Yeah. I do have a question. So with the like teens and things, do you ever think about like having an intern or college students, um, for interns to work with you so they can learn more?
Yes and no. So I work with the I think it's called Maryland Up. program for a few years, and it was mostly like summer interns. And you know, the goal was to find people that had an interest in fashion and were like creative and could like do stuff with social media. But I don't think I got a good fit with, with those people in that particular program. I think I need to be like connected with a fashion program, because I thought it was going to be an easy job. Like, hey, y'all, take pictures of the merchandise, play dress up, and like post content. That's what y'all do all day anyway, right? And it wasn't that. Like, it just, I think they sort of were expecting more like a mall job where they just sit and wait for people to come in. And I really want them to have like take more initiative, make more charge, to be creative and do fun stuff. So I felt like I had to like really empower them to like make some decisions, to do things. And I don't know. It was a challenge. I'm not gonna lie. It was a challenge, but also I believe that program was for young people who were in transitional environments. So some of them were under housed, and some of them were, had like different mental and physical impairments and things like that. And I think I was a former teacher, and I work for an organization that supports people with disabilities. But I wasn't fully trained in how to manage young people with those challenges. So felt like I spent most of the time doing that than working for having them work for me. I spent most of the time sort of acting as a mentor and support system, which I think they needed more than I needed them to hang up clothes. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um, I
Just
have
reach out to
explored it. We'll see what happens in the future.
yeah. Okay. Brianna said, where are where are your favorite places to thrift?
I wouldn't say like a set place or location, because I think people know you can Google like places to thrift, and what's good for you. I would throw the challenge back to say, Um, do you enjoy the thrill of the chase? Like, do you enjoy digging through stuff, or do you want to curate it? Because that sort of determines what best is for you. For me, I like to do like estate sales, because I feel like I find more vintage pieces, which I'm looking for, more so than like thrifted pieces, which tend to be like a little bit newer. So, personally, I like to go to like estate sales and things like that, because people have collections. You can usually get like nice stuff, all the same size, all from the same person, versus sort of going into a thrift store. And depending on how that thrift store is organized, it may be a hodgepodge of different things. So, I would say that's my favorite thing to do, versus like a set store. I hope that answers your question. I'm sure you want like a name of a place, but it's not giving what it used to give. So not since I closed my store. Not since I closed my store.
I've never heard of estate
Mhm.
sales. So I'm gonna have to look into that. But I normally when I thrift, I'll thrift for like pieces like a denim jacket, or I buy a lot of picture frames from different stores. But just curious.
Yes, yes, I love it. And for estate sales, it's you don't need like anything special. You can go on estatesale.net or .com, one of those like websites, CT Bids. It's like a lot of different sites. But if you look up like online estate sales in Baltimore, whatever, they'll have like a listing of things, and you really just show up to the address provided, bring cash, because some of them will do like PayPal or Cash App or something like that. But bring cash so you can negotiate and get the best deals. But really, a lot of times people's family members become ancestors, and they don't know what to do with all of their things. They don't necessarily want to give them to Goodwill. They want to make a little bit of money. So It's fun. Like it's get up early. You get there early. Early bird gets the worm.
I
Uh,
haven't heard of state sales. That's new. I'm gonna look into that too.
mhm. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And let me know when you're going so we can go together.
Been to a really good estate in Bowie. There was a
Hmm.
really good one I've been to.
Yep.
And
You know what they say, like in more affluent areas, they tend to have more
mhm,
nicer things. And I take it a step further because my interest is in black vintage. I want the fly aunties that are
Okay.
wearing the things that my aunties wear. So, sometimes I go to areas where they have nice things, but it doesn't really match my target,
mhm,
aesthetic too. So, you
mhm,
sort of learn those things as you're in the industry, like places that you can go or types of people. I can sort of tell, how they say when you shopping, when you're house shopping, and this is phony, but you can sort of tell whether the owner was skin folk or not by how the house is laid out and the aesthetics of the house. I sort of look at those
mhm.
things too, to see who own these things. If I, sort of get the vibe in the house that, yeah, this was a auntie, this was a queen, I know I'm gonna rack up because I know they're gonna have the stuff that I want. So,
Yeah. The other question, it said, what made you pick the location of your shop? Um, and you did answer how long you've
mhm.
been there for 10 years, right?
Yeah, these are great questions. Thank you. So I picked Station North Arts District because I really wanted to be in an artsy area. I wanted to be in an up and coming area, and I wanted to be in like a sort of a shoppable area. So I picked Station North, and like I said, at that time they were doing a lot of like artsy things, and they were looking for different types of businesses. So I still teeter between like fashion as art, and in fashion shows and things like that. So I said, well, I'm gonna use, vintage fashion as art. And we had a good run. We were there, 10 years, and then COVID ruined it all.
COVID messed up a lot of stuff for a
I
lot of people.
messed up a lot. But it did open up some other things, and I'm gonna shut up because I do be talking too much. But it opened up other things because of having the store and having to manage that. I wasn't maybe invited to certain spaces and events and things like that because people didn't consider me for those types of projects. They thought, oh, you're the shop owner, right? You do shop stuff. They didn't necessarily always consider me as a speaker for events, as a curator for hosting events, for organizing fashion shows and styling. So once COVID sort of sent everybody at home, I sort of connected with different people. And I hate to say it this way, but sort of farmed myself out in different ways to diversify my income streams as a business, as an entrepreneur. So it's a blessing and a curse. Yes, I got rid of the overhead, which also brought down sales, but I also feel like I'm doing more to uplift vintage in the community by doing my Vintage Black Expo and doing fashion shows where I'm showing people how to style, doing more content creation to show people how to wear things and so forth, and having these
I need to
discussions. Like,
come.
this is awesome.
Yeah, I need to come to one of the events too.
Yes.
I'm always working.
Yes, shameless plug, y'all. Shameless plug. I'm going to Ghana next week, right, right after Christmas. I'll be there for 2 weeks, and I'm going to be doing a pop-up, a fashion show in the sustainable market by partnering with people that I met the last time I went to Ghana, and folks that I met online, and other people who connected me with other people and things like that. So it's a global thing. Like, people are really intentional, especially like in Ghana, where they're getting a lot of this waste. Like they're getting stuff there
Yeah,
in bales. So it's amazing to see how much of an impact like we really can have, so
right.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that it is a big impact these other countries have because we want to look good. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And
Um,
sometimes don't even look all that good, but that's another story.
that's
That's
true.
another one.
All right. And we want to thank you for, telling us about your story. I really appreciate you coming on. All right. So we're moving on to the next speaker. Um, Daria